All right. Welcome back to another episode of the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific time, 11 p.m. Eastern time, here to talk about everything in terms of professional wrestling. Hope you guys have an amazing Wednesday, as my mom liked to call it, hump day. Now, I know you guys, what you guys were thinking. Don't get too excited here. Just means you're like right there, and then you're like going downhill Thursday, Friday, and eventually you land up in the weekend, which is always awesome. So 1,010%. Hope you guys had a great Wednesday, and yeah, looking forward to spending the next hour with you guys. All right, so let's go ahead and jump on into what we have on tap today on the GSMC Sportsnet on the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast. Today on tap, we have our WWE NXT review. We're gonna have our AEW Dynamite preview. We're gonna jump on into the recently at a press conference you saw Tony Khan and the FTW champion Hook kind of being confronted by a journalist saying that the title's kind of a joke. So that obviously AEW president Tony Khan shot back. So we're just going to talk about a little bit about the FTW champion, where the championship in itself, where it kind of came from, and maybe even some a couple of ideas as a wrestling fan. I'm like, it can make it a little more prestigious. And then our fourth segment, Becky Lynch she was trending during AEW's All In because of return by Jamie Hayter. So she looked exactly like her. It was crazy. It got fans, obviously, it got them super excited. Maybe perhaps there's a possibility that the man Becky Lynch could wind up in AEW. Obviously, that's a huge if. So we're going to talk about that. And then we're going to talk about our fifth and final segment. Every Wednesday, I leave you guys with my Wednesday weekly wrestling news. So yeah, let's go ahead and dig on into that. But before we do any of that, I want to remind you guys to go ahead and hit up that super chat. Whether if you got a burning question or a hot take in terms of professional wrestling or just something you want to get off your mind. Here at the GSMC Sports Network, we are absolutely 110% all ears. This show is about making your voice, important, part of the mix. So, don't be shy. Drop your comments, questions, concerns inside the chat. And if you really want to make sure your comment or question gets read on air, why not use that super chat? Just hit that $ below that chat box, send in your message, and it's guaranteed to be featured on the show. Plus, it's a great way for you guys to support our channel, kind of keep this channel going. Your super chats helps us keep the lights on and bring you even more awesome sports content. And we're obviously, super grateful for each and every one of you who, attend our shows daily. Your support makes all the difference. So let's keep the conversation going. Send in those super chats, those super stickers, because you guys are super awesome. And together we will make sure this show is bigger, better, and stronger than ever. And once again, if the super chat is not your thing, we are still at the GSMCpodcast.net. Hit up that tips and donations link. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. Superman, punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the show. Follow the network here at the GSMC Sports Network. We do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity, 1,010%. So make sure, leave a positive remark. Feedback is a gift. All right, so let's go ahead and dig on into our first segment. We're going to talk about some WWE NXT. So first and foremost, it started off. You saw the Fatal Influence defeat. You saw them defeat Miss Jackson and Lash Legend, which was, it was a great match. All in all, I felt, I felt kind of bad for Jasmine Nix outside of the ring, who took the ultimate sacrifice and took that slam by the big, strong, and Lash Legend. She's amazing. Lash Legend. She's very, something that I noticed in this match, that she could be potentially like a champion who could be dominant. Obviously, this, her with Metaphor, the faction right now. I feel like if she wants to promote her singles, career, I feel like she kind of has to drop them. Like, it was cool when you had all four together, Oro Mensa, then you had Noam Dar. With Dar injured and with Oro Mensa just, looking, lifelessly looking, for a booking. I think it would be kind of cool to see Lash Legend kind of, find herself in a different storyline. Maybe she finds a way to turn her back on Metaphor or something like that. I don't know, just something to spark her career, because she's very talented. She's very talented. Obviously, she used to play in the WNBA, so she has that versatile. She can be fast. She can be technical wrestler, hit a submission here and there, be high flying. Like she has it all. So I kind of would like to see her in a different booking. Right now, just watching her and Miss Jackson lose match after match after match. It's just I don't know. I just feel like it could be better for Lash Legend. Next, we saw Carmen Petrovic pick up a victory against Izzy Dame. She stole one. I saw this one coming because I had my money. I thought Izzy Dame was going to win because Izzy Dame's just, in my opinion, kind of like the better overall wrestler. But that just goes to show you could be the better wrestler, but sometimes the night it's not your night, and that's something that Carmen Petrovic exploited, and it was her night. It was her night. It was able to build. She was able to build momentum. I'm interested to find out where NXT kind of books her moving forward. I know she was she used to run around with Natalia. Natalia, I think the storyline says that she trained her. So Carmen Petrovic is on the up and up. Obviously a huge win, a win nonetheless against Izzy Dame. So I don't know, kind of crazy. Next, you saw Jada Parker, the number one contender for Roxanne Perez's NXT women's championship at No Mercy. You saw her sit down in an interview. And yeah, she just said exactly 2 years ago she was signed by WWE. Recently been in some really big matches. She was a D1 soccer player. That's pretty awesome. She's a wrestler that was a soccer player. I kind of got confused during that promo, but I was like, all right, I get what she's trying to say, I guess. Uh, she admitted that she actually is a little banged up. She's a little banged up after that 6-woman eliminator match. And by all means, it's clear. You can kind of see it inside the ring. It really honestly looked like she is in pain. The way she was on the mic, I see WWE NXT Women Championship caliber. But right now, Roxanne Perez she's too over. Right now, she's too over as a heel. Honestly, I don't think anybody right now on the NXT roster could dethrone her and everybody be like, okay, now, that kind of makes sense. But right now, I think Roxanne Perez is just, kind of out of this world. You saw Roxanne Perez show up and, she told the interviewer to leave, which was kind of cool. Total heel, total heel. And then fuck, she got the freaking taste slapped out of her mouth by Jada Parker. And then they kind of had this promo like they're like, what are you looking at? Like, why are you here? And then like the camera didn't show who they were talking about. And then Roxanne Perez got up too, and she kind of looked in disbelief that she was there as well. Maybe somebody big is anticipated to debut at No Mercy. I know it's been said in the comment section that maybe Julia, maybe Stephanie Vaquero make their way into No Mercy. So it's gonna be great. I feel like all in all, it's gonna be an amazing pay-per-view. It's gonna be great for the WWE Women's NXT division. All right, next we have the family going against the No Quarter Catch Crew. I gotta be honest. Like, I was never really like a huge believer on the family. I was like, you know what? Just, I love this Italian mafia storyline, but can these guys actually get in the ring and actually wrestle? I gotta be honest. Right now, the No Quarter Catch Crew, after a loss tonight, last night, they're kind of showing a lot of weakness. Charlie Dempsey recently lost a match at TNA to Jonathan Grisham. He barely beat Tony D'Angelo for that Heritage Cup championship with the help of Brent Sinclair. So, I just feel like right now with the No Quarter Catch Crew, you're kind of leaving them a little vulnerable here. Maybe it could be you could have some TNA talent trying to make their way across to the NXT brand and maybe challenge for that Heritage Cup, ultimately becoming that champion. That'd be pretty cool. Obviously I have a couple of picks that would be really cool for TNA to make that collaboration. Obviously, Moose. There's speculations that Matt Hardy wants to challenge for a singles title in NXT. Also, Josh Alexander, Frankie Kazarian. There's a lot of talented TNA wrestlers that could do it. That could do it, and they can make it prestigious. They could, dethrone Charlie Dempsey, although his run has been, kind of short. I think he's actually a two-time NXT Heritage Cup champion. Don't quote me on that, but all in all, I thought it was, it was a good match. The family was able to pick up the victory. Looked absolutely impressive. Luca Cristobino he was great. He was great. Definitely, I can see him holding like an NXT North American Championship in the future. Next, we saw Wes Lee and Zachery Wentz of TNA come face to face. And overall, the promo was great. I thought the promo was great. Having two best friends, kind of going against each other. One of them claims that they are, larger than life and they outgrew them. Classic, WWE storyline, classic. And then you had Zachery Wentz basically telling Wesley, like, dude, like, I was a really good friend to you in front of the camera and behind the camera. Like, I would take you to doctor's appointments. I'd call you, I'd stay in touch. We made sure that a month ago you did not leave WWE NXT because it looked like you were. But then Wesley just looked like he didn't really have a good, really good say against it. For the first time, I kind of thought I saw it and I was like, you know what? I feel like what Zachery Wentz right now is bringing to the table inside the ring with this promo. I didn't think Wesley could really handle it. I thought overall he just kept going back and forth of, I'm better than you. I'm better than you. I'm levels above. We're not on the same level. We're not like, I don't know. Maybe that's all that Zachery kind of left for him to kind of deal with. But overall, if you're going to make this match prestigious at No Mercy, you should have like thrown a little bit more insults besides, I'm a WWE superstar and you're just a TNA wrestler. Like, you know what I mean? Like for him, that was like the big like mic drop. But then Zachery Wentz was like, all right, picked up the mic and then talked his stuff and then left Wesley kind of like, oh crap, like, he cut a really good promo, Zachery Wentz. So it's gonna be a great match. All in all, I would like to see Zachery Wentz pick up the victory against Wesley at No Mercy. The match was made last night. I feel like it'd be huge for TNA. Wesley right now, he really doesn't need to win this match. Right now he's working with one of his best friends in the industry. Obviously behind the curtain. So I don't know, to kind of put him over. I feel like I'm gonna put Zachery Wentz in on this one. Like I'm gonna make him, and then he has that NXT. No, he has the TNA Emergence fight. I think he's in that Emerge with the X division. I'm not too sure. Don't quote me on that. But I don't know. He's just getting larger. He's just getting bigger, which is good. Which is good for Zachery Wentz. All right, wrapping this up rapidly, we're going to talk Kelani Jordan. Her surprise opponent was Rosemary of TNA. Always always the creepy, cool kind of personnel. You saw Wendy Chu introduce her surprise partner. But overall, it was a pretty impressive win by Kelani Jordan. I thought overall that she handled it very, very well. She did miss on a couple of cues, including her finishing move where she landed on her lower leg instead of like right smack dab in the abdomen. So that I was kind of like, all right, but she did great. She did great. Then he had Wendy Chu choke her out at the end of the match, signifying that Wendy Chu will take on Kelani Jordan for that NXT Women's North American Championship at No Mercy on Sunday. Next, you saw Nathan Frazier and Axiom confront Chase U. Still based on mutual respect. None of them really want to shake the cage really that much, but they're going to fight each other at No Mercy. We saw Malik Blade lose against Brooks Jensen. Javon Evans took the L against Joe Coffey, sorry. And then you saw the Don sit with Obafemi, and Obafemi, walked out with his nose held up high. He kind of set the Don straight. He said, honestly, you're not really, you like to pretend like you're this big and bad, this Don of NXT, but I'm the ruler of NXT, so you can't really hang with me. And then lastly, you saw Joe Hendry hit a pretty awesome concert. It's pretty funny because, Ethan Page kept trying to talk. Obviously wasn't, to no avail. And and then the fans kept singing. It was pretty badass. I thought it was pretty cool. And then Trick Williams was revealed by General Manager Ava that he's going to be the special guest referee because of how Ethan Page and the referees don't really get along. So that obviously opens up a lot of potential storylines. Will Trick Williams screw Joe Hendry? Maybe to open up maybe like a heel turn for Trick Williams, or maybe perhaps Pete Dunne. He was seen after the at the end of the show saying that Trick Williams like he knows where to find him and he's going to attack him. So honestly, a great episode of NXT before No Mercy. All right, so guys, go ahead and make sure you guys stay here and watch this awesome podcast because when we return, we're going to talk about some AEW Dynamite. So make sure, you stay here, and I'll see you in a little bit.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits, some losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip, you choose to fight or lose your grip and lose the gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
All right. We are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to talk about everything in terms of professional wrestling. Just going to reflect on what we talked about real quick. We had our WWE NXT review. Now we're going to talk about our AEW Dynamite preview. But before we get into any of that, I want to remind you guys to use the tips and donations link at the GSMC Podcast.net. Or hit up that super chat. Hit up that super chat. Sorry. If you have a burning question, or if you just have a hot take in terms of professional wrestling, or just something you want to get off your mind, this show is all about keeping the party going, keeping the conversation lively, and making sure your voice is absolutely part of the mix. And if you really want to make sure your comment or question gets read on air, go ahead and hit that super chat. It's the $ below that chat box. Send in your message, your comment, your concern. And plus, it's a great way to support our channel. 1,010%. We need your guys' support. Makes all the difference. We are absolutely so grateful to have each and every one of you here to join us daily. So yeah, make sure you hit that super chat so we can keep bringing back the content that you guys love so damn much. So let's keep the conversation going. Send in those super chats, those super stickers, because you guys are super awesome. And together, we will make sure this podcast is bigger, better, and stronger than ever. And once again, if the super chat is not your thing, we are still at the GSMCpodcast.net. Hit up that tips and donations link at the GSMCpodcast.net. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. Give me some of your hot takes in terms of professional wrestling. Superman punch that like and subscribe button. Also follow the show, follow the network here at the GSMC Sports Network. We do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity. Obviously, send in some feedback. Feedback is a gift, 1,010%. So let's go and dig on into some AEW Dynamite. It's Wednesday. You know what that means. AEW Dynamite is live from Illinois. I think it's Illinois. My phone's acting kind of funny, and that's where I have my notes. Damn it. So tonight on Dynamite, Bryan Danielson will address his future in AEW. It's going to be a good promo. Bryan Danielson always cuts good promos. Obviously, it's going to be interrupted by his next opponent. Should be interesting to find out who's his next opponent going to be. I like I said, I feel like he's still with one foot out and one foot in the door. I feel like his reign as AEW World Heavyweight Champion would probably end with him just relinquishing the belt at the end of the year, being like, "Look, I proved it to myself. He's going to defend against some high end. He's going to defend against AEW's best, and he's going to retain. MJF, Hangman Adam Page, maybe another shot at Swerve. But overall, maybe Kenny Omega, maybe anybody from the Elite, Kaz Okada, you know what I mean? But overall, I feel like Bryan Danielson, he's at that point in his career where he really has nothing else to prove. People respect him. People realize he is one of the best professional wrestlers in the world. Not just AEW, not just WWE, but all over the universe. You remember the name Bryan Danielson, obviously the huge yes movement in WWE. He made his way to AEW after, a crappy booking. Oh my God. That character of him, being, calling everybody fickle, and trying to be that conservative champion. and he was with Eric Rowan, and like they have the belt remade with the recycled goods. And WWE, I don't know what you were thinking, but that was terrible. That was absolutely awful. So you saw the newly crowned AEW World Champion. So we're gonna see him talk tonight. I can't wait to find out what he has to say. Next, we have Ricochet. Ricochet is going to make his AEW Dynamite debut, and it's going to be sick. It's going to be sick. I have him having an amazing match. It's something that I really liked about what AEW did with Ricochet's debut. You could have put him against the guy that, was, kind of like a jobber, kind of like a smash match, maybe somebody from Ring of Honor or the CMLL, New Japan Professional Wrestling, that's kind of like lower below. But no, he's going to get a badass. He's going to get a hard hitting, high flying, determined, a gritty Kyle Fletcher of the Don Callis family. I think overall this will be an introduction for Ricochet to feud with the Don Callis family. Obviously, former Don Callis family member Will Ospreay will probably be involved in it. I kind of can see maybe like Kyle Fletcher be like, look, like, man, I came out and I protected you against MJF. I got my arse kicked. And then Ricochet's going to be like, look, man, I came to AEW because, I want to wrestle with you. You're one of my, special wrestling fans or whatever you like to call it. But, I think this is going to be a great, storyline. I think it's going to be a good storyline. But overall, I would hate to see Kyle Fletcher kind of move into that heel role, although he's I don't know if it's guilty by association because you're associating yourself with a scumbag like Don Callis, but I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Next, we see Jamie Hayter making her her AEW Dynamite debut after being mistaken that she was Becky Lynch. I watched all over social media, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook Live Reels, YouTube Reels. When they saw her come back in her, looking like Becky Lynch, people thought, "Oh my God, Becky is all elite." Even Becky Lynch's name was trending on Twitter during AEW's All In, which is kind of crazy, but it is what it is. I think overall she's going to show up tonight. She's going to show why she got injured. She had to essentially kind of drop her AEW World Champion Women's Championship against Toni Storm in like a 3-minute match. Obviously because she was injured. So I thought, she's going to fight Harley Cameron tonight. Next, we have Mariah May's championship celebration. She did it. She dethroned Toni Storm, her former protege. And now we are in the era of glamour. Obviously you have Mina Shirakawa on Ring of Honor. I don't really think she's going to include herself in the storyline so far, but she did post on social media of a couple of necklaces, damn it, a couple of bracelets she had that said the only people I love. And then you saw Tony, and you also saw Mariah, and then like I don't know, it was just it was kind of crazy. It was a nice little kind of nice little hint at what's to come. But overall, I don't know, it should be pretty interesting tonight who decides to maybe stake their claim to be Mariah May's next competitor at AEW's All Out. So yeah, it should be pretty awesome. Next, we have a big 4-on-4 match. We have Chris Jericho, Brian Keith, Big Bill, and Roderick Strong taking on Orange Cassidy, the FTW World Champion, the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion, Mark Briscoe, and you also have Kyle O'Reilly. This is going to be a good match. I think this match has the potential to steal the show because, I like the way Mark Briscoe is inside the ring. I love the way Roderick Strong kind of controls the match. I love the way Chris Jericho is just a huge antagonist. And, let's see if the learning tree could actually pick up the victory here. Also, Hook, the FTW champion, he's dangerous. He's dangerous, should not be taken lightly. So 1,010%, I think this match is going to steal the show. My prediction is, just to get momentum back on their side, I think the learning tree, along with Roderick Strong, get this victory. Next, we have the Hangman Adam Page. The Hangman Adam Page takes on Tomohiro Ishii in a singles match. Ishii, obviously, he is not. Well, he's part of the Blackpool Combat Club. No, the conglomeration. Sorry. I don't know. He's been kind of. He recently won a match with Willow Nightingale. They fought Chris Statlander and Stokely at AEW's All In. That was one of those, those matches. And I'm not trying to throw shade at that. not trying to say that, oh, they didn't give it their 1,010% effort, so then we shouldn't recognize or respect it. I want to saw Ishii kind of come to AEW to kind of be that big, strong, like kind of muscle that he is, and I haven't seen that lately. I've seen him, obviously participate in matches with the conglomeration, but Hangman Adam Page, he's on a mission. He's on a mission to hurt everybody in his way to get the Swerve Strickland. So, now with Swerve not having the belt, maybe perhaps you see a backstage promo with Hangman Adam Page and Swerve Strickland, maybe hinting at a match at All Out. That could possibly be, what they're kind of heading for in this direction, because I kind of mentioned it before. If you want Hangman to take on Swerve Strickland without any kind of, lingering, possible storyline frailment or anything like that, you have Swerve Strickland drop the AEW World Heavyweight Championship against Bryan Danielson, and then you have a good old-fashioned just a brawl between two men who absolutely despise each other, the Hangman Adam Page and Swerve Strickland. And lastly, from AEW, we will hear from Swerve Strickland. He's going to be out tonight. He's going to talk about, obviously, his future. 1,010%, Swerve Strickland was an amazing champion. Nothing much to it. I thought overall he did a great job representing AEW when they needed one of those champions to kind of put them over the top. You had Samoa Joe dethrone, MJF. And then, before MJF then you had CM Punk, who left the company. And before CM Punk left the company, a couple months prior to that, you had Cody Rhodes leave. And, they really needed a guy to kind of step up. He was the first ever African-American AEW World Heavyweight Champion. One of my favorites. I fell in love with Swerve Strickland on NXT. He's quickly become my favorite wrestler in the whole entire world, WWE, the MLW, the GCW, the, whatever, in terms of professional wrestling. I fell in love with this character. But it should be interesting to find out if they decide to kind of, maybe take this as an opportunity for him to turn heel. I don't think they do, because overall you have Hangman Adam Page wanting to kind of, kind of square a debt that he has with Swerve Strickland. So I think within his next booking, he gets to work with, Adam. So I think, definitely been in wrestling for a long, long time, Hangman has. So he's going to bring out the ultimate best inside of Swerve Strickland, and Swerve Strickland is going to do vice versa. And it's going to be a kick-ass match. It's going to be an amazing match. The fact that there's no title lingering over it, I think doesn't make it more important. I think it makes it even better, in my opinion. All right, so that was my AEW Dynamite preview. Can't wait to watch it tonight. I have it recorded right now. It's airing. But now we're going to talk about the FTW Championship. Recently in a press conference, Tony Khan addressed a journalist who basically said the FTW Championship was a joke. He backed up Hook. He backed up his FTW champion he's a 3-time champion, the first to ever do it. So, yeah, we're going to talk about the FTW Championship. Is it a joke? Kind of the origin about it. Also, we're going to talk about maybe some potential things that can make it better. So, hey, do not go anywhere.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
All right. Welcome back to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here with all your cool wrestling factoids, all the action inside and outside of the ring of the WWE, AEW, every professional wrestling organization. If it makes headline news in the professional wrestling industry, we talk about it here at the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast. presented by the GSMC Sports Network. Just kind of reflect on what we talked about real quick. We had our WWE NXT review. We had our AEW Dynamite preview. And now we're going to jump on into our FTW Championship, bout here. Recently in an interview at the, during the post, you saw a lot of people obviously hit up that super chat. Super stickers, because you guys are super awesome. Can't do the show without you guys 1,010%. So make sure you guys, hit up that link. Send, obviously, if you have a burning question or hot take in terms of professional wrestling, I want to hear about it. So yeah, don't be shy. Drop those questions inside the chat. And super chat, it's the $ below the chat box. So make sure, so we can have a nice, conversation going, because the show's a hell of a lot better with a lot of audience engagement. Believe me. Uh, so we're going to talk about the FTW champion. Like I said, after AEW's All In, you saw Tony Khan being kind of asked a question by journalists saying, don't you think the FTW championship is kind of a joke? Obviously, Tony Khan got a little flustered. You could tell by the look on Hook's face that he was 1,010%, not pissed off, but he was kind of like, all right, like, because that title is much more than just a title. That's the title his dad created. His dad's, obviously you know this, but his dad's Taz, in ECW. So obviously, he saw AEW Vice President, President Tony Khan come to the rescue and kind of shoot that down immediately. I thought it was kind of cool. I love how he represents his wrestlers, and 1,010%. That's something I believe a lot of what AEW, they're your superstars, that's what they have in their back pocket. They have a vice president or a president that's that's going to go to battle for them. Like, does WWE did they really have that with Vince McMahon? I feel like overall Vince McMahon was kind of like that mentality of like, rule with an iron fist, whatever I say goes, like, you know what I mean? Like, but Tony Khan, obviously he's a little more open to that. He understands that life does happen. Um, you know, you're not the only wrestling promotion in the world. Obviously, he does take WWE in consideration. He has a lot of respect for WWE. He even said in an interview that he does poke fun at WWE sometimes, because it's just fun to kind of get the two wrestling promotions kind of at odds with each other. He kind of having that Monday Night Raw and Monday Night Nitro kind of, and that's just strategic, like, public relations. And I feel like that's overall, I feel like that's pretty cool. I feel like, I think that's pretty awesome. So the FTW, is it a joke? The FTW Championship, is it a joke? Does it remind you of titles like the 24/7 Championship? Does it remind you of titles like the WWF Hardcore Championship? The FTW Championship is kind of like a breath of nostalgia for for ECW fans. Like I said, Taz did create it. Obviously, you see right there Sabu winning that title from Taz. And since Taz's name is engraved on it, he put over a sticker with his name on it. I thought that was pretty badass. I thought that was pretty cool. So, overall, I don't think the FTW Championship is a joke. It is indeed a little unique. It is a little unique, but obviously, AEW embraces that, PG-13 and above kind of mentality in terms of their viewership and audiences. They love it. They love it 1,010%. That's a huge reason why I like AEW. I do. You see blood. You see, someone throwing a curse word here and there. You see like a gruesome promo, or you just see, I don't know. It's just overall, I respect what Tony Khan is doing, and the FTW Championship. It's been a staple with AEW since it since it made its way into existence in 2019. It's a great way. It's a great way for superstars to kind of, like you saw Jungle Boy Jack Perry, like when he was making that transition into being that, okay, do I want to be a mid-carder my whole entire life? Do I want to be known as the Jungle Boy, or do I want to be known as the scapegoat Jack Perry? Also, when Hook started, he had the championship as well. Brian Cage, the leader of the Cage of Agony, like he's impressive as hell. Obviously, like, holding that title, he made that prestigious. So, a lot of superstars did hold this championship. Like I said, Chris Jericho as well. He was, he made that championship great. He just, he pissed everybody off. It's going to be interesting to find out the learning tree mentality. As soon as they make their way onto AEW Dynamite tonight, maybe they have a little bit of maybe a thorn in their side, maybe a thumbtack up their butt, and Chris Jericho turns heel. The whole learning tree just absolutely goes crazy. I know Big Bill, the learning tree, got a huge positive response when he had his match with Hook. So maybe it could possibly maybe being his time to shine. Maybe he challenges Hook next. But overall, I think the FTW Championship, although it is unique, and although it might not make a lot of sense to wrestling fans, because throughout wrestling, once when a lot of wrestling promotions went down under, you had WWE kind of staple its name as the main, kind of like, okay, this is what it means to be a wrestling promotion. You don't need blood. You don't need thumbtacks. You don't need chairs. You don't need people throwing themselves off Titantrons. But FTW Championship, the AEW, they pushed the envelope, and the fans seem to love it. The fans seem to love it. Obviously, people love and respect Hook when he makes his way inside of the ring every single time. And the FTW Championship is not just it's not the only championship in AEW. You know what I mean? Like if people want to be like, "Oh, I don't want to fight for the FTW Championship," then you can. There's Continental. There's also the International. There's the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. There's also this new partnership that Tony Khan has with Ring of Honor. You can challenge for all the Ring of Honor belts. Also, the New Japan Professional Wrestling, all the New Japan Professional Wrestling strong belts. The CMLL, the Willow Nightingale, an AEW superstar, is the CMLL World Women's Champion. So obviously, there's a lot of different ways you can go about your career. The journalist that kind of mentioned it, I see what he means. I definitely 1,010% kind of see what he means. I watched a pay-per-view AEW Double or Nothing at Las Vegas where Chris Jericho threw out a bunch of dice and suplexed Hook onto it, and I was like, all right, it's starting to get a little, I'm starting to get a little. But overall, that's what do you expect? What do you expect? Like what I mean? Like the FTW Championship, it is what it is. It's not made to make superstars who hold it into this on-screen kind of person you can't take serious. It's not a joke. It's not a joke to them. So why do you have to disrespect it? If someone's holding when R-Truth hold the 24/7 championship, people be like, oh, that title's a joke. Dude, I held that title proud. If I won, if your GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast host, Eric Rodriguez, held the 24/7 championship of WWE, I would 1,010% be like, dude, this is sick. I feel like I've won the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. I feel like I've won the Larry O'Brien Trophy. I feel like I've won the Stanley Cup. That's how, dude, it's a title's a title. A title is most importantly, in terms of professional wrestling, it's a way to kind of convict and kind of, intervene different types of storylines. It's a way to kind of put faces of superstars in on the mix. And Hook is an impressive talent in AEW. So he holds the championship proud for his father. And, just I don't know. It shouldn't be considered ever as it's a joke. Any belt should, the 24/7 Hardcore Championship during the WWF run was a little bit when Crash Holly was trying to trying to crash out in the APA office, and then you had I think it was JBL. I think it was JBL who covered him. I think you had the referee count slowly and quietly. He was like it was funny. It was cool, but it served its purpose. The WWF fans knew exactly what it was, and they didn't resent it. They took it as a way to kind of be entertaining. So definitely love I love wonky I love wonky bookings. I love wonky titles and stuff like that. So I don't know, it's kind of crazy. And if you really think about it, this title is the only title that is left out of ECW, the only title left standing. Hook made ECW history, AEW history, winning the FTW Championship 3 times. Journalist Sam Smith, instead of congratulating Hook, would actually kind of insult the title holder. It's kind of crazy. Basically saying it with, calling it, a bit of a joke, irritating Tony Khan and, Hook. The FTW Championship was brought in as a really important part of the company, created by Hook's father, Taz. ECW's legit alternate to ECW's title legit. Okay, basically, when people thought about the ECW World Heavyweight Championship, they thought of the FTW Championship as kind of like its equal. kind of like its equal, back once during the ECW days. Um, it's right now it has been inactive. It has been inactive for 21 years. Obviously, brought back. The two belts was unified. The FTW Championship, also the ECW Championship. That's why it's no longer called the FTW Championship. It's the World Heavyweight FTW Wrestling Champion. Kind of being that last nostalgic breath of ECW. A lot of fans still watch highlights of ECW. I'm one of those guys who was like, during its time it was appropriate. During its time it was cool, it was badass, it was edgy, it was very, at times could be a little gruesome. But overall, I feel like the title has served its purpose on AEW. And I don't know, I just don't really feel like it should be kind of talked down a little bit. All right, so the FTW history obviously is now updated. We have Ricky Starks, who held the championship for 378 days. Brian Cage held it for 377. Chris Jericho, 124. Sabu, 92 days. Taz held it for 219. Imagine 2000. That's crazy. 219 days. Jack Perry, Scapegoat, held the FTW World Championship for 39 days. Hook has held it for an astounding 596 days in his third time reign. A huge round of applause. Round of applause for my man Hook right there. When you see the signal high in the sky, no, don't fear. Hook is here. So, definitely love him as an FTW champion. I like the way he holds it. Obviously, representing his father, pretty damn well. And just the ECW chain, that was something that was very special to Taz, something that was very special to Paul Heyman, something that was very special to people like the Dudley Boys, just incredible. The Sandman, Rob Van Dam. A lot of, probably people look at the FTW championship, they kind of see it, they're like, that's cool. That's cool. All right, guys. So, guys, do not go anywhere. We're going to talk about Becky Lynch trends during AEW All In. You saw Jamie Hayter make her debut. Not her debut, her return. And she looked exactly like Becky Lynch. And she started trending during AEW, All In. So, we're going to talk about that when we return. So, hey, do not go anywhere.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
And we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here with all your cool wrestling factoids, talking about wrestling inside and outside of the ring, backstage rumors and drama behind the curtain, talk about superstar injury updates, inactive statuses, also, contract negotiations. We touch from wrestling promotions like WWE to AEW, the TNA, the Ring of Honor, the GCW, the MOW, the NWA, New Japan Professional Wrestling, the CMLL. If it makes wrestling news headlines, we talk about it here on the podcast. So if you're a newfound wrestling fan, it's a great way to kind of get some information here. You know what I mean? Or if you're just somebody who's, I like to compare this podcast to you kind of go to a bar, you sit down in the bar stool and the guy sitting next to you kind of gives you that look, and then you kind of give him that look. And then right in front of you, a TV's playing, you see WWE happening or any kind of wrestling. You guys are both fixated on it. And then you guys, the unlikeliest of friends, become absolute, I don't know, you got to be close as hell. And then you just bond over WWE. So, if you want something cool to talk about in terms of professional wrestling, maybe you have some friends that are into it, maybe a spouse who's trying to get you into it. This is a great way to kind of make that jumping off. All right, so let's kind of reflect on what we talked about real quick. We had our WWE NXT review. We had our AEW Dynamite review. We talked about the FTW Championship and in its, in its serenity last segment. And now we're going to talk about some Becky Lynch news, Becky Lynch trends during AEW's All In. It was a little crazy. it was a little crazy that she trended all, to begin with, which is kind of crazy. But you saw Jamie Hayter of AEW make her in-ring return after injury. She hasn't been seen on AEW since early 2023, where she was forced to drop her belt to the Timeless Tony Storm in a 3-minute match. I think it was on Dynamite. I'm not too sure. Don't quote me on that. But you had wrestling social media going nuts because people wanted to be the first one to be like, to be that wrestling account, to be like, oh, I reported it first. I reported it first. Becky Lynch is all in. Rebecca Quinn is all elite. But that was not the case. Everybody got so excited, and like it's a little awkward. Got to be honest, it's such awkward. So Becky Lynch is indeed the hottest free agent available in WWE right now, or in all the professional wrestling, because she's technically not a WWE superstar. She could very much sign with the promotion like AEW. And now the AEW owns, Ring of Honor, the CMLL, New Japan Professional Wrestling, and they're acquiring more. There's no doubt in my mind that Becky Lynch has a, hard choice to make. Obviously, it's not like the Ricochet signing. There are some sort of connecting factors. Obviously, Ricochet's fiance, Samantha Irving, is the Monday Night Raw announcer. So I kind of thought it was like, dude, why would you want to bail on somewhere that you get to travel with your beautiful spouse and get to do what you guys got to do, get to do what you guys got to do. Just you're happy, but he wasn't happy in WWE. I mean, the moment he made it to AEW, and the reason why he's facing Kyle Fletcher right now is because he made a statement saying that more people watch WWE Speed than Kyle Fletcher matches. Ooh, ouch! That hurts. That hurts. Taking a stab at WWE Speed like that, but it's true. It's true 1,010%. Like, it's WWE Speed matches. The whole entirety of its programming has kind of fell short side. When you lost Ricochet, you've lost basically half of the WWE Speed roster, even more. In the inaugural match, you had Dragon Lee taking on Ricochet, and it was an absolute banger. It was back and forth. It was high athletic, agile. Like, it was great. But all matches aren't going to be like that. Now you see big guys like Andrade on it. Now you see people like Bronson Reed taking on these small, like, little cruiserweights that are supposed to complete the match under 3 minutes. It's essentially kind of become like, some matches are like a squash match. You know what I mean? You're basically there to watch the best squash match. And who wants to see a good squash match? Honestly, I don't. 1,010%. So with Becky Lynch potentially having the option to sign with AEW, it's not a bad idea. 1,010%. I think Becky Lynch is a very talented superstar. She's one of my favorite women's wrestlers within the industry right now. And I don't know. I just feel like, Tony Khan, if he wants to make, and I did a segment about this a couple of days ago, and I respect my man, Stephen Craig, right there, leaving a chat. Love you too, my man. AEW is literally 2 or 3 more stars away from becoming absolutely a bombshell. Like, you're going to absolutely becoming one of the main wrestling promotions, because you kind of see on Raw, with CM Punk and Drew McIntyre booking, yeah, it's all right. But both the superstars got injured. CM Punk was probably not supposed to feud with Drew McIntyre. I think it was kind of maybe thought up on the fly. Originally, he was supposed to fight Seth Rollins for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania. Obviously, that didn't happen because he did not win the Royal Rumble match because of his injury. But right now, on Raw, there's a couple of main star, superstars. There's, on Raw and SmackDown, there's a couple of main star superstars. But, on AEW, Bryan Danielson, MJF, you also have Swerve Strickland now, who's, killing it. You had Samoa Joe, Hangman Adam Page. You had the Young Bucks before the Elite. I feel like the Elite is ultimately destroying the Young Bucks. You had Kenny Omega. You had newly signed international star Will Ospreay. You also had Kazuchika Okada, recently signed Mercedes Moné. Now you signed somebody big like Ricochet. This signing is huge. And AEW is 1 or 2 more stars away from signing someone that would absolutely alter their landscape in terms of being successful and fixing those ratings on Collision, Rampage, Dynamite. Their PLEs are good. Their pay-per-views in AEW are amazing. I got to be honest. Becky Lynch could be that last one that they need. If she signs with AEW, automatically, you're going to have a lot of WWE fans jump ship. And I might be one of them. I'm just kidding. No, I do like both wrestling promotions. And see, that's the beauty of it. That's what a lot of people kind of have misconceptions about it. A lot of people like to compare this war between AEW and WWE for ratings, kind of like the Monday Night War between Nitro and Monday Night Raw. And also you had Thursday, Thunder, then Thursday Night SmackDown on UPN at 8 p.m. It's not the same. That was before cell phones. Now there's streaming services that can even put some of the smallest wrestling promotions into thousands of, tens of thousands of 100,000s of viewers. Being so hot on TV right now is, that's not such the biggest deal. That's why you had AEW's Tony Khan reach out to HBO Max. That's why you have WWE Monday Night Raw, previewing, debuting on Netflix at the start of January. It's because it's a different world now. You essentially you can create content anywhere. You can become a content distributor basically from your basement. From a room outside in your backyard where there's no insulation and it's hot as hell. That's you can become someone who distributes content basically anywhere. And it's crazy. It's crazy, but that's the world we live in this digital era. Would be kind of crazy, but I don't know. Some rumors that stated Becky Lynch, making her AEW debut at All In has been, the talk of the town. Professional wrestling fans went nuts on social media when they saw Jamie Hayter debut on AEW's return on AEW's All In pre-show. The way her hair was covered, the 29-year-old suffered an injury and hasn't been seen in AEW since May of 2023. The rumors across professional wrestling that circulate in terms of Becky Lynch signing with AEW has been a hot topic ever since she refused to sign with WWE and extend her contract. And I don't know, it'd be kind of crazy. Like I said, you had people like Mercedes Moné, Okada, Ospreay. You also had Adam Copeland as well. You have a bunch of former friends of Becky Lynch's that was there on NXT. She has so many familiar faces in AEW. It's not even funny. It's to the point where I don't think it would be much of a change at all. Maybe the fact that you're not going to be with your husband or your spouse, Seth Rollins. It's not going to be, that easy or that practical to kind of, bring your. Although I do think that they're both taking time off to spend time with their family to kind of, Seth Rollins is injured right now. And Becky Lynch is, Tony Khan feels like he needs to reach out to Becky Lynch per sources, but overall, he knows that Becky Lynch she's going to do whatever that's right for her. What's the sense of, trying to pander and trying to beg somebody to do something? In fact, that they're going to go out there and kind of do anything in their own ways anyways, because she has the power. She has all the power. She's the talent. She's the generational talent inside this women's division, inside of professional wrestling. So obviously, no shock there that Becky Lynch is going to go out there, be the man, take what she wants. So yeah, 1,010%. Let me know in the comment section if you guys think Becky Lynch, Rebecca Quinn will be All Elite by the end of this year. I think it's a possibility. Obviously, right now I'm like 80, 20%, maybe even 75, 25%, because, this would be one of the biggest contracts ever in professional wrestling. Becky Lynch could possibly become the highest paid wrestler in the men's division, in the women's division, whatever. And Tony Khan's willing to do that. And will it pay off? All that money spent? Hell yeah, it will. So, let me know in the comment section if you think Becky Lynch will go to All Elite Wrestling. So yeah, let's go ahead and cap off this show with our Wednesdays weekly wrestling news. I give you guys some breaking news in the professional wrestling industry, and we're going to talk about it here. So, hey, do not go anywhere. All right, all right, all right. We are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday on the GSMC Sports Network at 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time. We're here to talk about everything in terms of professional wrestling, all the action inside and outside of the ring, backstage rumors and drama. Also, superstar, injury updates, inactive superstar news. Also, we, touch on promotions like the, AEW, TNA, Ring of Honor, the MLW, WWE, the NWA, the GCW. If it makes main wrestling news headlines, we talk about it here on the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast. So let's go to dive on into our fifth and final segment of the night. We got my man Emirates podcast starting in about 30 minutes, my man. The GSMC Soccer Podcast. If you're a huge soccer fan, I want to guarantee you that this is the best soccer podcast in the whole entire world. Even Cristiano Ronaldo listens to it. It's that crazy. I'm just kidding now. Well, probably, it's that, he's that damn good. I got a comment from my man, Stephen Craig. I think Becky will jump ship. It's to the point where, why wouldn't you? It's tough to say in terms of in the professional world, obviously. Like, I know, about that. And sometimes you do make decisions based on the money, but it's not like Becky's going to some crazy corporation or wrestling promotion that doesn't understand how to take care of their superstars. Tony Khan is probably the most friendliest wrestling superstar. He's friendly to his superstars. If Becky Lynch was like, "Hey, I got to cut out. I have my son sick or my daughter's sick. I got to go." He'd be like, "Yeah." He'd give her a private jet. Here you go, man. Like, family's important. Obviously, that's not how it was with Vince McMahon. Under the grueling schedule that is WWE, where you have SmackDown, Raw, 2 live events, you travel, like Triple H Hall of X said, like, not a lot of people can kind of keep up with the grind, and Will Ospreay of AEW honestly mocked the crap out of it. And they're like, dude, like, who the heck are you to say that, bro? Like, I mean, you're not, you're not out there to kind of like be there at every single show. So you can't really, I know you endured that your whole entire career. But overall, it's tough. And I feel like if Becky Lynch does want to be a professional wrestler, she's going to get the most attention, which she's surprisingly not in WWE. She's going to get most of the attention if she moves to AEW. She's going to get most of the money if she moves to AEW. She's going to get most of the flexible hours if she moves to AEW. So all signs point to yes. I think it'd be great. Honestly, right now, you kind of have this hiatus with Seth Rollins, for her to kind of, be like, look, after this, it's going to kind of be a little hectic, but I think we can make it work. But, just know that we're going to be financially stable. Everything's going to be fine for our daughter. Just know 1,010% everything's going to be fine. And it is. And it will. So I think 1,010% Becky Lynch has, more than enough reasons to jump ship to AEW. All right. So now we're going to talk about our Wednesday's weekly wrestling news. Just give you guys some news to kind of talk about if you, stranger who knows about professional wrestling. So, oh man, no, looks like that's not going to work. So we're going to talk about the news here. Sorry, technical difficulties. Rey Mysterio provides a health update in terms, he recently had stem cell therapy. He claimed that every single time he moves his ankles, his heels, his shoulders, one of the most famous luchadors in terms of professional wrestling, modern technology in terms of the medical field has been absolutely astonishing. It's been great. It's been, especially in terms of professional wrestling, guys who break their necks to be like, I can never wrestle again. I can never do what I was made to do. Now I got to go out in the real world and get myself like a job or something like that. You know what I mean? Now you can kind of have this stem cell, this research, these kind of, spinal fusion surgeries. And it's just astonishing. It's just amazing. Obviously, you got to thank God. You got to thank, for giving us the technology to kind of make it happen here. So 1,010%, it's pretty awesome that Rey Mysterio, that's the reason why he really hasn't been seen inside of a WWE ring. Him and his son Dominic both dealing with kind of underlying injuries. So I thought that's kind of ironic. Next, we have WWE NXT viewership sees a decrease, despite the fact that you saw a pretty great promo between Wesley and Zachery Wentz. Ethan Page is overall the NXT World Heavyweight Champion. So this feud with Joe Hendry. I feel like it's great, but I just feel like if Joe Hendry wins the belt, I honestly feel that you're going to get a lot more, you're going to get a lot of fans. You're going to get a lot of fans, a lot of international fans, a lot of fans from TNA, a lot of fans from WWE. So 1,010%, having somebody like Joe Hendry represent your brand would probably be a little more beneficial than having the all eagle Ethan Page. Although he has been great. He has been great. I don't want to say he's a transitional champion. I don't want to say that because he did pay his dues in AEW. He did come to the WWE, and everybody was shocked. And in his first chance at the title, he lost. But at the second time he fought, it was a fatal four-way, and he technically did not pin Trick Williams, which you knew that WWE NXT creative kind of planned for that, maybe hinting at a future match between the two. But overall, I just feel like right now, I think NXT is going to get better. It's going to get better going on to the CW, and it's going to be great. Next, we have the WWE Speed Tournament begins. We have the bracket already set up. And, thanks to the technical difficulties, I can't reveal those superstars. And it sucks. It sucks. It sucks. But overall, I saw Lyra Valkyria on it. And I think that's all I really need to know. Just kidding. No, because they were promoting her so damn much that as soon as Sonya Deville came back, as soon as Selena Vega came back from injuries, she's kind of taking the back seat a little bit in terms of that. But overall, I feel like she's going to be the champion. I feel like she has the potential to be the inaugural champion. I know there's a lot of WWE NXT women's stars that are probably going to be amazing. Like Sol Ruka would be astonishing at that. That'd be sick. Lola Vice. There's possibilities. Next, we have Rhea Ripley appears on a longtime comic book strip. Gil Thorpe. I've never really heard of Gil Thorpe. I know it's kind of like a sports comic. That's all I really honestly know about. But I don't know. It's kind of cool how WWE superstars are most certainly starting to promote themselves within their own kind of social media kind of platform. Obviously, what you've seen with the whole Samantha Irving thing. Obviously, what you've seen with basically people being like, you know what, I kind of need to step out there and kind of you have the WWE tag. You have the WWE tag in your back pocket. And, if you're seen posting something on social media, people are going to listen to it. People are going to watch it. People are going to like it. People are going to subscribe. So 1,010%, I feel like it's a huge opportunity for Ripple to become more, bigger and better. And, it's going to kind of blow up her image, in a positive way, And, much like she deserves it. She deserves it 1,010%. Next, we have Paul London, a former WWE superstar, WCW superstar as well. He, took on a main producer role on Major League Wrestling. Paul London. I remember when he made his debut in WWE. He was a tag team with Brian Kendrick back in 2006. I think he was like the height of their existence in the tag team division. But I think that's when they formed the tag team of Kane and the Big Show, and I was like, that's stupid. When you could have had high-flying tag team, that's something I feel like the tag team division in terms of professional wrestling, especially in WWE, needs a lot more help. Needs a lot more help than it, Yeah. So next we have the reasons. We have reasons behind WWE shorter PLE match cards. Triple H, has been kind of prominent on keeping the PLEs and prioritizing quality over quantity. And that's not bad. That's not bad. But then again, it's not good. It's not good on AEW. The reason why their pay-per-views are so damn successful because you have every title being fought. You have pre-show matches. You have matches to make matches. What I mean. It's not just I don't know. It's it's not nuts. It's not nuts to have more than 6 or 7 matches on your main card. There is such a thing as you can still provide quantity with quality. So don't be too short for that. Also, you have shorter cards, which makes it hard for younger, for new age WWE talent to kind of put their name over. So, I think for a fact, if I was talking to Triple H, Paul Levesque face to face, I'd be like, look, this is what we're dealing with, this and that and the other. Just imagine adding 3 or 4 matches to your match card. 2 of them could be on the pre-show. Defend the WWE Tag Team Championships on the PLE for Christ's sakes. Dang it. You can do that. You can do that. That's crazy. I know. Recently Triple H hasn't really, successfully accepted that. But you can have that happen, dude. Like I don't know. It's kind of crazy. Big PLE matches make for great TV and content, and I right now I'm a little far fetched on why Triple H keeps doing this, keeps booking these small PLEs. But I guess the whole quality over quantity, I guess that does make sense. But some of the matches, even like it's not quality. Like that Liv Morgan Becky Lynch match at King of the Ring, like the finish to the Money in the Bank, WWE Money in the Bank, like it. Drew McIntyre gets screwed up. Like it's not even that great. So I don't know. I just feel like it should be there should be new ideas and reintroduced inside the boardroom, and when they talk about PLEs. I just wish I was there. I just wish I was there. And lastly, we have WWE Raw being hosted in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia for the first time. WWE will host Crown Jewel November 2nd. And obviously a day after that, or I think that's Saturday. So on November 4th, you will have the first ever WWE Monday Night Raw taking place in Saudi Arabia. So I think that's obviously monumental. I think that's pretty badass. I think that's pretty cool. So yeah. All right, guys, that's enough wrestling that I got that I have for you today. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Make sure you tune in tomorrow, same time, same place on the GSMC Sports Network. So make sure you hit up that link, subscribe, follow. Superman, punch that like button because you guys like me so damn much. I'm just kidding. No, if you like me, that's cool. Send it in the chat. I'm just kidding. Thank you so much for tuning into the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Just remember to follow us on Twitter/X, Instagram, and TikTok for more content and updates. And remember, here at the GSMC Sports Network, we do respect feedback, but leave a positive review. Here at the GSMC Sports Network, we do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity. And like I always say, if I have not made you a wrestling fan by now, we got my man Emran's podcast that's starting in about 19 minutes. So make sure you check that out. We got GSMC Sports with TJ. We got Sports by GSMC with Jeremy. We also have the Chip Shop Football Podcast with Manny and the GSMC Football Podcast with my boy Kenneth. We also have Fantasy Sports. So Fantasy Sports is absolutely, it's on the horizon. A lot of drafts are taking place this weekend. Why not find who to draft your stardoms, your situms, your flex by watching Chris Shepard on the GSMC Fantasy Sports Podcast. So make sure you tune into that. We got my boy Nelson with the GSMC Basketball Podcast, college football, my boy Tommy with the GSMC College Football Podcast. So make sure you tune into all these badass podcasts. They're super awesome, hosted by some of the best that I've ever got to watch, learn from them, respect, 1,010%. Once again, hope you guys have an amazing Wednesday night. I will see you on a beautiful Thursday. Stay beautiful, but most importantly, love you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great.